Very good morning to you, my dear students. Hope you all are healthy, fit, and fine at home, taking care of yourself and your family members. So, let us begin with your English. Till last week, I was sending you all the grammar part, that is, sentences and kinds of sentences, and hope you all have done it well. So, let us begin with your English subject, that is Bal Bharti. Now, this is your textbook, my dear students. This is English Bal Bharti Standard 7th, which you all are going to use for the academic year 2021. This is the second page of your textbook. We basically use the textbooks which are published by the Maharashtra state government. This is your index. Can you see you have 4 units and each unit has at least 6 parts, 6 to 7 parts. Okay. So we will start with our 1.1, that is past, present and future, which is the poem. Okay. Now, this is a poem which is 1.1, that is past, present and future. Now, that poem is written by a poet named Emily Bront. Okay. So, whenever and further we are going to talk about poetry, you are also supposed to mention the name of the poet or the poetess. Okay. Let's move on. Now, what do you know by past, present and future? You will say that, ma'am, these are tenses. No, but the exact word past means what? Which has happened. Okay, which has happened earlier. Present, which is happening now. And future, which is going to happen. So the poetry is basically based upon these three words. Okay, so let's see the poetry. Now, this is the poetry in your textbook. Okay, past, present and future. Let me read the poetry for you. Past, Present, Future by Emily Bront. Tell me, smiling kid, what the past is like to thee. An autumn evening soft and mild, with a wind that sighs mournfully. Tell me what is the present hour, a green and flowery spray, where a young bird sits gathering its power to mount and fly away. And what is the future, happy one? A sea beneath a cloudless sun, a mighty, glorious, dazzling sea stretching into infinity. Okay, so this is the poetry. After the video, I'm going to send the picture of the poetry. This you are going to write down the poetry in your notebook. Try to color it, make it nice, beautiful. Okay, so this is the poetry. Now we will go stanza by stanza, wherein I will tell you the meaning. Now here the poet is trying to ask a child, as a child, what does the child feel? That what was the past, what is the present, and what is going to be the future. Okay. Here. Now just see analysis, which you are going to do it in your further stage. That is, we also write the appreciation of the poem. Now, past, present, future is divided into 3 verses. Okay, this is basically about the poem. Each one of being of thematic importance to one of the titular words. Each of the 3 verses is a quatrain, that is 4 lines. Okay, every para has 4 lines, so it is called as quatrain, and uses a simple AB rhyming pattern. Okay, the first sentence is getting rhymed to the second, third is getting rhymed to the fourth, so AB. The shortest line is 6 syllables long, and the longest is 8th. This gives the poem a consistent rhyming rhythm that makes it easy to read aloud and follow along. The final verse breaks this mold only slightly, preferring an AABB. Now what happens here? The rhyming is between AA and BB, that is the rhyming scheme, okay, rhyming pattern to the one established in the previous 2 verses. This is done to invoke a particular effect better explored within the specific content of the verse. Now, why these rhyming schemes are there? This makes the poetry a very, what you can say, a rhythmic way to basically read the poem, and it gives a lot of value and meaning to the poetry. Okay, now let us go stanza wise. Now, this is your first stanza. tell me, smiling child, what the past is like to thee. An autumn evening soft and mild, with a wind that sighs mournfully. Now here, the poet is asking the small child who is smiling that what was the past for that child. Okay, what did the past actually mean to the child, and what does the child basically want to describe that according to him or her the past was. So now what the child is trying to tell, that it was like an winter evening which was very soft and mild, means like a winter evening which is having very cool breeze, soft weather, and with the wind, like a wind which is bringing a lot of satisfaction, sighs mournfully, like all the sorrows have gone away. Okay, now here in the first verse the concept of the past is discussed and the basic structure of the poem's content is made clear. The narrator of the poem appears to be speaking with a smiling child and asking them about the nature of the time and reality. Despite the content being asked to the child, the answer is not particularly childish, invoking an image of autumn, which is often viewed as a wistful kind of time because of its close relationship with cold and dark winters. The wind is personified to have a mournful sigh. Means mournful sigh is a human quality which is given to a wind. Okay. And it is portrayed as being a sad figure. And this autumn is ultimately described as something very pleasant. So the description, soft and mild, suggests ideal weather, and the idea of a sad wind is distinct from that one of the cold wind. Okay. Now in this, the wind is described, the winters are described, okay, and things are compared with some human qualities which is called as personification. Again they also tell us about, like, no, the choice to use the fall season as focus of the past is an interesting one, but it implies on impending winter. This would suggest that the present is going to be described as a wintry season. But it is also possible that a child is suggesting that when a person looks back into the past, they tend to see mild autumn over the cold winter. This then could be a metaphor for the concept of nostalgia, of preferring to remember the past, something calm and wonderful to be missed and to want to experience again. Okay, so this is basically the child's description. Let us go to the next paragraph. Tell me, what is the present hour? A green and flowery spray where a young bird sits gathering its spark to mount and fly. Now, according to the child, the present moment for a child is what? Fresh green branches where there are a lot of flowers blooming, which is bringing some kind of joy and happiness to the life. Okay, it is also trying to tell us that a bird which is sitting on these branches, which is gathering a par, it is indirectly trying to give a lot of positive energy and the power to the little child, wherein that will help the child to fly up high in the sky. Means basically, if you see, this is in the poetic language, but if you talk, they basically want to tell that the child is very happy, feeling the happiness from the flowers, trying to take a lot of positive energy from the bird, and trying with that positive energy, trying to work hard towards the life and fly high, means to go up high into the ambitious life. Next is the last passage where it says that, and what is the future? Happy one? A sea beneath a cloudless sun, a mighty, glorious, dazzling sea, stretching into infinity. Now, here the poet is asking again the child, what according to you the future is, whether it is happy one. The child tells that it is like a huge sea which is left below the open sky. Okay, there is a lot, oh, there is a huge sky above, but there are no clouds, only brightness of the sun. Okay, now because of this brightness of the sun, the sea looks glorious. There it is twinkling like the very bright shining because of the sun's brightness, and it is stretching into infinity. Stretching into infinity means what? It is going away where you do not know till where it extends. Okay, so it is trying to tell us that it is going to bring a lot of joy, lot of happiness, lot of bright things ahead, because the sun's light, which symbolizes some brightness in the life. Sea beneath me, sea is immense, it is limitless, and therefore our life is going to be ahead very bright, limitless. We are very high onto the way of the success. Okay, now I will send you all these pictures wherein Emily Bront has written this, basically a summary of the poem. Okay, now last, I would just summarize the poem by reading this paragraph, that the speaker of the poem is discussing these concepts with the child is an interesting narrative choice on Brown's part, but the perspective of the child is often different than the perspective of an adult. The child responds to the speaker in a highly poetic fashion, but at its core, the images described are fairly simple. The past is something to be longed for, the present is something to plan in, and the future is something to look forward to. The natural imageries used as are phenomena that a child might observe all the time while growing up. The childlike simplicity of the metaphors combined with their more thorough inner meanings is what makes them so effective. Describing time is not ever going to be easy, but in her own unique way, Emily Bront is able to effectively convey a powerful means of doing so. Okay, my dear student. So here you have seen about the poem, how a poet is trying to know the views of the child. Okay, now there is the English workshop, which is at the end of your workbook. Okay, now you just go through it, try to solve as many questions you can solve. Okay, I will later give you all the word meanings of this particular poetry, and just go through the language study. These are the figures of speech, simile and metaphor. Try to understand it. Later I will give you the proper explanation and few examples. Okay, my dear students. Now, so till then, take care of yourself. Do all the work given by all the teachers. Okay, because of this pandemic, we are not able to meet physically. So maybe online or virtually, try to complete your work and be a good student. Make your English notebook, and like English, you make notebooks for all other subjects and try to do your work. Okay, bye, my dear students. Take care.